Yo, what's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel, and today we've got some absolutely scorching hot NFL rumors dropping straight out of the heart of Texas. I'm talking red hot, can't look away, fanbase splitting, football shaking rumors. Yes, you heard the buzz, and now we're diving deep into the explosive talk that the Dallas Cowboys may be looking to trade for Christian McCaffrey. Yep, the Christian McCaffrey. This isn't just offseason noise. This is the kind of NFL chatter that could shift the entire balance of power in the NFC if it ever goes down. And Cowboys fans? Oh, you better believe they're divided on this one. Some are screaming Super Bowl or bust, and others are pumping the brakes, yelling too risky, too expensive, too late. So let's talk about it: the potential trade, what it could cost, what it could mean for Dallas, and whether this rumor has any legs. First off, we know the Cowboys are at a critical point in their franchise. The regular season is fast approaching, the pressure on Mike McCarthy is real, and with Dak Prescott entering what feels like a make-or-break year, Jerry Jones might just feel the urgency to make a splash. The Cowboys have been lacking a true game-changing running back since Ezekiel Elliott's prime years faded. Tony Pollard was a good weapon, sure, but he wasn't built to be that bell cow back, and now he's out of the picture. And while they've added some depth and talent in the backfield, no one's looking at Dallas's current RB room and saying, that's elite. Enter Christian McCaffrey, one of the most electrifying running backs in the NFL when healthy. McCaffrey is a true dual-threat weapon. He can torch defenses on the ground, he can line up as a receiver and make linebackers look silly, and he's a threat to score every time he touches the football. That's not hype, that's cold, hard fact. And if Jerry Jones wants to make one final push during this championship window, CMC could be the piece that puts them over the top. Now, let's be real: McCaffrey isn't coming cheap. If this trade were to happen, the Cowboys would likely have to give up a couple of mid-round picks, possibly a player, and absorb a big chunk of McCaffrey's salary. And that's where the risk starts to creep in. McCaffrey, as talented as he is, has had some real durability issues. We've seen it time and time again: a few monster performances, followed by a nagging hamstring, a high ankle sprain, or worse, something that takes him out for weeks. No doubt, his injury history is something any front office would have to consider. But here's the flip side: when McCaffrey is healthy and clicking, he's not just a running back, he's practically a quarterback's best friend, an offensive coordinator's dream, and a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare. He opens up the playbook in a way few players can. Imagine Dak Prescott having a safety valve like CMC in the flat or lined up in the slot. Imagine opposing defenses having to account for him every snap. That could mean more single coverage for CeeDee Lamb, more space for tight ends, and an offense that suddenly looks dynamic, explosive, and let's be honest, downright scary. So what would this mean for the Cowboys' offensive identity? Well, in recent years, the offense has looked a little too predictable, a little too flat. We've seen them struggle in short yardage situations, we've seen drives stall in the red zone, and frankly, we've seen too much reliance on Doc's arm. That's not a knock on Doc, he's a solid quarterback, but you can't expect him to carry the load every single week. Bringing in a player like McCaffrey could balance the offense, allow for more creative formations, more motion, more misdirection, and that could be exactly what this team needs to finally take the next step. But let's talk money because, of course, every big move in the NFL comes down to the cap. McCaffrey has a massive contract, and the Cowboys have already paid big bucks to guys like Doc, CeeDee, and others. Can they make it work financially? That's a big question, but let's not forget, teams manipulate the cap all the time. If they're serious about winning now, and all signs point to that, they can find a way to make the numbers work. This might mean pushing money down the road, restructuring some deals, maybe even cutting ties with a vet or two. But if Jerry and Stephen Jones think McCaffrey is the guy to bring a sixth Lombardi to Dallas, don't be surprised if they start moving pieces behind the scenes. Let's also not forget who we're dealing with here. Jerry Jones isn't afraid to roll the dice. He's made splashy moves before, some that worked out, some that didn't, but you can't say he doesn't have guts. This could be the kind of legacy-defining move he pulls off to cement his place as an aggressive owner who went all in. And let's talk about fan reaction, because this one's been wild. Cowboys fans on social media have been going at it non-stop. Some are ecstatic, already designing jerseys and dreaming of Super Bowl Sunday, while others are screaming no. From the rooftops, terrified of another injury-plagued season with a superstar sitting on the sideline. And can you blame them? We've seen dream trades fall apart before. Remember Roy Williams? Joey Galloway? The history is there, and it's not always pretty. But there's something different about this team, this moment. The defense is loaded with talent. The offensive line, while aging, still has fight in it. If you add McCaffrey, you might be one of the most balanced teams in the entire league. Then there's the emotional angle. Christian McCaffrey in a Cowboys uniform? That's box office material. That's ticket sales. That's primetime games. And maybe that's enough for Jerry to say, screw the risk, let's go get him. Meanwhile, on the other side of the deal, you've got to consider what the 49ers might be thinking. Maybe they're ready to rebuild a bit, get younger, collect picks, and move on from their high-priced stars. Maybe they're ready to hand the keys to someone else in the backfield. Maybe they don't see McCaffrey as part of their long-term vision anymore, especially with the injuries and the money. And if they're willing to listen, you'd better believe Dallas is going to call. If this trade were to happen, and let's remember, it's still just a rumor at this point, it would send shockwaves across the league. Suddenly, Dallas would become a betting favorite in the NFC. The Eagles, the 49ers, the Lions, they'd all be looking over their shoulders. And you'd better believe every analyst from ESPN to NFL Network would be talking Cowboys 24/7. That's the power of a move like this. So where do we go from here? Well, we keep watching. We keep refreshing Twitter. We listen for whispers from the beat reporters, and we keep our ears glued to any signs from the front office. Maybe it happens before the season. Maybe it doesn't happen at all. But the fact that we're even talking about Christian McCaffrey to the Cowboys tells you everything you need to know. This team is hungry. This front office is looking to win now. And if the price is right, don't be shocked if Jerry Jones pulls the trigger. So what do you think? Should the Cowboys go all in for CMC? Is it worth the picks, the money, the risk? Or should they stay the course and trust in their young guys and depth pieces? Let me know down in the comments. Smash that like button if you're riding the CMC to Dallas hype train. Hit subscribe so you don't miss a second of the action this season. And as always, stay loud, stay proud, and stay Cowboys strong. This has been your go-to spot for the hottest Dallas news and rumors. I'll catch you in the next one, and maybe, just maybe, next time I talk to you, Christian McCaffrey will be wearing silver and blue. Peace.